Township of Garfield Board. We will start with a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Cian, could we have a roll call, please?
Schmuckel.
Here.
Corn. Corn.
Here.
Augustinelli.
She's not here this evening.
Oh, of course she's not here. L. McManus.
Here.
McCumber.
Here.
Lapp.
Here.
And J. McManus.
Here, thank you. First item on our agenda this evening is public comment. We have public comment at the beginning and at the end of each meeting, and then there may be some public hearings scattered throughout. So at this time, we'll open up public comment. If anybody has anything they'd like to let us know, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and let us know what you'd like to say.
My name is Ray Scamahorn. I live at 867 Northeast Silver Lake Road. And I would like to figure out how we can get the speed limit lowered. I live at the very bottom of the hill to the, I guess would be the north end of Beacon Hills. And when I pull out of my driveway, it's scary. People come over that hill 60, 70 mile an hour. It's terrible. And I've also noticed that ever since they paved Rainy School Road, it now become a major route for the bigger trucks, mainly the Elmer's trucks. They go by fast enough, they blow my trash cans over. And that's not fun. Pulling out of the driveway, I get people coming down the hill, tailgating. I gotta pull over. We gotta do something. Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
My name's John Hokinson, 1072 Northeast Silver Lake Road. Speaking about the same thing, we live in a little valley right there. There's hills on either end. My son rides a bus. The bus has been passed from people coming over the hill with the red lights on several times we've been there since 2021. As well as it's a very busy boat launch directly across from my driveway. The hill is north of there, the one closest to my house anyways, and as you're pulling out, if you got a large trailer on, you can't always speed up really quickly, and I've seen a lot of close calls right there, plus people missing the boat launch and stopping in the road, and they pass. Elmer's trucks also fly by the house. What else? Tailgaters, we get them a lot, and they're not very nice. They'll pass you on the right. When I make a left, I usually come from the north to my house to make a left, and I have people pass me before I can get into my driveway. So just, bringing it down to 45 would be fantastic, just to get people slowing down in that area. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Guess what? My name's Lynn Trickey. I reside at 831 East Silver Lake Road. And I'm here also in support of the possibility of lowering that speed limit. My driveway is the first concealed one coming from the south over that hill. I'm right there. And I did make all that I could with having an additional turnaround lane so I could always pull out instead of backing onto the road. But that still isn't enough with the kind of speed that is coming up over that hill. And I guess what we're looking for is just something that would go ahead and slow them down a little. Those trucks can't stop on a dime. And if they saw me pulling out and I wasn't hitting it and going as fast as I possibly could, they're going to smack me. And we're doing the best we can with it. At night, you can see headlights. Daytime, you can't. My mailbox is also located across the street. So I find myself walking up to the crest of the hill, crossing over, then down to my mailbox, get my mail out, then back up and around, just so that I'm not being hit by somebody. So it is kind of a safety concern. Fortunately, I don't have children, but I do have granddaughters and grandsons that come to visit, and they love it when grandma says, just burn rubber. Let's get out of here. You know, that's what you got to do, guys. So if there's anything that we could do to put into consideration a reduced limit on that speed, it would be great, because I know that they're not doing 55. They're doing much more than that. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Amy Hartzog. I'm a trail planner with Tart Trails, and I'm here to speak in support of the resolution for a speed study on Silver Lake Road between South Airport and Frankie. I appreciate Trustee Agostinelli. She spoke up, I think it was at the last trustees meeting, just saying she heard from residents the importance of being able to cross Silver Lake near Wyatt and how important that is, how many close calls there have been. And with the expansion of the YMCA, there's going to be even more demand. So this speed study is a great first step at understanding how traffic's moving in that area. And then I would also just urge you to consider then like a traffic and safety study to follow it up to get the whole picture. So we know near the YMCA where it makes the most sense to have a crosswalk that is safe for people of all ages and abilities to get to the Y and beyond to Coles Marketplace or into town to the regional trail network. So I appreciate the work that you do in the community, and thank you for considering this resolution, and I hope you'll support it.
Thank you.
Hello, Kara Yulee, 1397 Alexander Drive. I am on the agenda tonight for reappointment to Planning Commission. I just wanted to thank you all for the opportunity to serve. It's been a privilege. The staff here and my fellow commissioners are great to work with. So I just wanted to say thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing nobody running forward, we'll close that public comment, and we'll move forward to review and approval of the agenda. And if anybody has any conflicts of interest, now would be a time to state those.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and supported to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Consent calendar.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such request will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted in parentheses on the agenda is approved by a single board action adopting the consent calendar. This evening you have minutes, November 25th, regular meeting and study session. Recommend approval. Bills from the general fund, $74,409.01. Recommend approval. Gordy Fraser Developers Escrow Fund, Sidewalk Review, Utility Plan Review, Oversight and Closeout, $6,375.50. General Utilities, $2,445. General, $8,967.50. And Park Funds DNR Trust Fund, $1,600 for a total of $19,388. Recommend approval. Item C, consideration of annual income-based exemption policy and guidelines, Resolution 2025-38-T. Recommend approval. Consideration of financial institutions which the Township Treasurer will do business with in 2026, Resolution 2025-39-T. Recommend approval. Introduction of the Fire Prevention Ordinance Number 81 and schedule a public hearing for January 13th, 2026, Township Board meeting. Recommend approval. Introduction of the Stormwater Control Ordinance Number 80 and schedule public hearing for January 13th, 2026, Township Board meeting. Recommend approval. Consideration of amendment to the Park Fund Expenditures Budget, Resolution 2025-53-T. Recommend approval. in consideration of amendment to the budget to transfer $532,000 from the fund balance Resolution 2025-54T. Recommend approval.
All right, thank you. Is there any item that anybody in the board would like to have removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda? Any item staff would like to have removed and placed elsewhere? Any item anybody in the public would like to have removed and placed elsewhere? Hearing none, I'd ask for entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve the consent calendar as presented. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, Ann, can we have a roll on that, please?
Corn.
Yes.
Is that Lapp?
Yes.
Okay. McCumber.
Yes.
Muckle.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
And J. McManus.
Yes, thank you. All right, moving on, I don't see anything under correspondence. We'll move on to reports. First report is our engineering report.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. Jennifer Graham, Gordy Frazier. Bear with me a moment. In your packet, dated December 4th, is report and status on projects. Few items specifically of note. I was calling it Gauthier, but it's now formally the Brixton on 31. We have gone through the plan review as far as that project's concerned for utility extensions. Coupled with that was that property owner, if you recall, collaborated with the township graciously and is going to provide a home for our new PRV there. So all of that has been resolved. The plans have been formalized. You guys had worked with Gordy Frazier, I think a month ago or so ago, because we had, for an additional service, just to relocate that. I've since reviewed that with DPW staff, and they thank you. The location's great, gets us off the road, safe for them, because that is a critical reducing valve station that serves all of North 31. So that is much appreciated. So that has been put into Eagle just to amend the permit, and we'll be putting that project out for bid. So that will be the last PRV of 3, that we had worked through. Seems like yesterday, but it was probably, 3-4 years? It's a process. But no, that sometimes when you wait, good things do come. And that one was one that was a great decision on our end, just because of costs, and a new property presented itself. So I'm very excited for that. Tank inspections, I have been formally, just so that this group is aware, selected, Gordy Frazier has as the engineer record for the DPW. We've been working for them for the last couple of years outside of a contract. They went through a procurement process, and I am proud to say that they continued to be very thankful and appreciative of our services and our knowledge, so we're going to continue to work with them. Supervisor McManus was part of that process, so thank you. So I get to wear 2 hats, and that, again, has been very helpful, I find it very beneficial, both for this township board and for DPW, because you guys have a huge customer base. So there's a lot of action items and getting through just a lot of outstanding housekeeping. Tank inspections are one, so the Board of Public Works approved us to do 2 tank inspections this next year that have, they're overdue in the last couple of years. One is the Bermley tank and the other one being the Heritage tank. So that will happen in the spring. Master meter upgrades, all the DPW staff have gone through, as you know, installed all the new master meters. We're getting data real time with SCADA and continuing to monitor that. So that's actually been very helpful just to kind of see the trends. And recently we've seen a downturn at veterans meter, for example, and definitely a lot less demand from the city. But coupled with that, with the Commons District coming online, we're now sending water back into the city, so the two are balancing each other out. So it's kind of neat just to kind of watch that process as far as where all the water's going. In your packet later, we'll talk about Munson Booster Station 4, as I mentioned, the Commons. We did, and I'll touch on that at new business, because we got a quote from a contractor, and I can get into details then. We
continue to work with Blair Township. They're a large customer to Pump Station 6. Some of you that went on the tour, the one that is just south of Applebee's in that very horrible location. Blair continues to see a lot of growth and taking up a lot of capacity of that pump station. And that station, that's actually the first project I probably worked on for you guys back in 2006, 20 years ago. So it's at its life expectancy. So we've been having some great discussion with Blair because they're going to be a fiduciary as far as, because they use a lot of that capacity. Through that process and invoicing and operation, reviewing the agreement, it came to light that although Blair Township's been paying their bill for use at the city's wastewater treatment plant capacity, they hadn't been invoiced for any O&M costs associated with the pump station. And, you know, where that responsibility, it's really hard to say. It was interesting going through that process with the supervisor and manager, both sat in those meetings, and enlightening. So with that, Blair acknowledges that's a cost, and so we're going to start sending them invoices for O&M effective January 1st. We're not going to go back 20 years. We want to be good neighbors, but we do want everybody to pay their fair share, and they're definitely understanding of that without question. I'm trying to think. Capital Improvement Project Stormwater Ordinance is on your agenda tonight. We've gone through and done technical review for that, so I can be there to answer any questions you guys have. The Commons Trail has been painful with Eagle, but we fortunately finally had some progress and a breakthrough with them. We have a new district engineer in Eagle with wetland side, and he has been a stickler, but there's been a lot of old data, which I appreciate the planner sharing, soil testing information, because that was an old dump, although not registered, and they really got hung up on that. And we've been waiting for a permit for almost 6 months and wanting to get that project moving ahead. It's a DNR grant that you guys have. They finally, Eagle, acknowledged that. So Planning Department asked for Gordy Fraser to come to the next Park and Rec meeting just to kind of give an update on that. But I'm thankful that we finally have some movement so we can get that project out for bid and get it constructed. Utility plans, it's kind of, I'm not going to jinx myself. It's been okay. It's been really, really busy, and now with snow, it's slowed down some, so we're able to do some catch up on things. Same with stormwater. We've seen kind of the same thing. And then otherwise, we've just been forging ahead with some city contract negotiations that I'm sure the supervisor will speak to, and continuing to meet with them routinely, which has been helpful. I will answer any questions that you guys might have for me.
Any questions for Jennifer? Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, and those of you I don't see, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
All right, County Commissioner.
Good evening, everyone. Lauren Flynn, County Commissioner, District 2. Last week, we had an update with Project Alpha in the 911 Emergency Operations Building. Everything is on track. The decisions we're making are is keeping all the plans on track to put the shovel in by spring 2026. Is it 2026? Yeah. Jeez, I can't believe it. We updated our public health. We had a public hearing to update our public health body art ordinance to match the state's. Had a great public comment on that with understanding the need for it to be a little stricter. We've had an ad hoc that brought forth, and it was approved to the employee match so that to help with retention on county employees to be able to start putting away savings even though they didn't get into MERS when they first got hired. We approved the 6-month CDBG loan extensions for Great Northern Roasting Company in Warbird. They are looking to fulfill their projects, but that entails hiring employees that are located in Grand Traverse County. So if you know anyone looking for positions, they've got some open that need to be filled. We did a lot of great things for planning for our future facilities, our justice facility, and our future community services location. We hired GFC International to be the facilitator for the Justice project, as well as Plant Moran Real Point for project management services. So we're making big movement there as well. And finally, the board approved the request by the airport for our full faith and credit pledge for their terminal. So that will be moving forward, and we'll be seeing that, more plans for that in 2026 as well. The lower lake, Chains Lakes, we're going to wait for more information before Grand Traverse County jumps in with that, with the Antrim County and all that to fix the chain of lakes. Tomorrow we are having a special meeting, not just a study session. The sheriff will be coming with us to some budget needs that the jail needs, as well as hearing from our capital improvement plan from facilities management, as well as getting a full high level of the budget that will be need to be approved next week. So, any questions?
Any questions for Lauren? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Sheriff's Department report.
Good evening, everyone. Deputy Veith, one of the Garfield Township Community Policing Officers. I'm going to be filling in for Lieutenant Raska. He couldn't make it tonight. Quite a few things to go over. I'm trying to keep myself in order here. Let's start with our statistics. So I kind of looked at October to November to kind of see the trend, not including the whole year. But what I did notice is that a lot of our criminal complaints have stayed roughly the same. That's kind of a general trend across the county as far as the amount of arrests made. What I did notice was a very large increase in the non-injury accidents, which is to be expected with the amount of snow that we've gotten this early in the season. Thankfully, we have seen a decrease in injury accidents in Garfield Township specifically. I think a lot of that is due to, with the snowy conditions, we're just getting a lot more of those fender bender type crashes and not high-speed ones leading to injury. Other than that, I'd say everything appears to be relatively stable. I do see actually quite an increase in the amount of citations written in some of the other townships. Blair went from 17 citations in October to 49 in this month. So there's clearly room for enforcement, especially as we bring up a lot of these different speed issues. Garfield has stayed relatively the same as far as the amount of citations. We had 71 issued in this month and 72 issued last month. In regards to East Silver, I have the results from a speed study that was conducted by Deputy Rosa, another one of our community policing officers, and we had a speed sign set up in the 1100 block, both southbound and northbound, and that would be roughly in the area of northeast Silver Lake Road and like the Silver Shores area. This is all new to me, so I apologize in advance if I am misinterpreting anything or not reading it correctly. But what I'm seeing is basically a table of the different speeds that were recorded at different times of day, from a full 24-hour cycle, essentially. And this was started, this is the 1100 block. Southbound. This was started on September 24th and was ended on October 1st. So a little less than a week. And you're definitely seeing the increase in speeds during the morning rush from about 6 to 8. And then it kind of tapers off and then picks up again during rush hour. The way the data is compiled here is it shows it divides the speed into different categories based on risk. And what you're seeing is compliant people driving the speed limit as it is, then low risk, which would be give or take 10 miles an hour over. The high risk threshold would be with an excess of 20 miles an hour. And the speed range that was captured was 1 to 150. There is a couple of outliers. I noticed there was a speed detected for the minimum speed was 10 miles per hour. The maximum speed was 78, which is concerning. But as far as the totals within those categories, we're seeing around that morning rush from, I'm seeing this as 5 to 9 is the highest numbers in the medium risk category. The only high risk category was at 9 o'clock at night, and there's only 2 examples of that, so I'm assuming that's just someone speeding when there's not many other cars around. The other speed sign was set up in the 600 block, so it would be Northeast Silver by Highland Drive. And it's interesting when you compare both of these that the 1100 block is showing a lot more hits for the medium risk category, whereas the 600 block is generally more in compliance. There's a lot of hits for the low risk in both categories. So people are obviously speeding on average probably 10 to 15 over. In my personal opinion, because I am not an expert when it comes to interpreting this data, I would say that the speed limit should be lowered in that area. It's a very narrow road. If you make the speed limit 55, people are going to drive 60, 70. I think that's just kind of that's just human nature, I'll put it that way. If it's reduced to 45, you're probably still going to have people driving 50 to 55, maybe 60. But I do find that people in general have a certain degree of respect for speed limit signs, or at least the idea that, hey, if I'm speeding, I could get a ticket. We don't always have the manpower to be engaging in proactive traffic enforcement, especially during the day. Most of our time is spent with calls for service. So I do think it is important to consider what we can do as far as the actual speed limit, but also just the passive influences on how people drive on certain roads. We've seen a lot of growth in the county overall.
Yeah, this study is part of our packet resolution
okay.
later. We've got this information and we've studied it and we have it. So you don't really have to go into a lot of detail on this at all. We've got it, and it's going to be part of the resolution we talk about later.
Okay, so that makes my job a lot, lot simpler than trying to decode that. But I think we've seen a lot of growth in the area. A lot of the road projects that got finished this summer, that's taking pulling more of the traffic from these secondary roads. But the secondary roads are still going to take a lot of traffic just because of the increase in population and the workforce. So Lieutenant Raska did tell me that his opinion would be the speed should be decreased by the YMCA. I would agree with that assessment. Apparently we have a 45 mile an hour zone near the school, but then the rest of that road is actually 55, which is pretty speedy for the amount of traffic and the amount of driveways that are there for whether it's businesses or the Copper Ridge complex, and of course the school itself, which is already a school zone. The other one that I didn't hear mentioned tonight was speed considerations for Lafreniere Road. I wasn't sure if that was something that had been brought up previously. it had, or?
Yeah, that one was, we acted on that earlier this year, that we
Okay.
requested the study, but, it's hung up with the state police right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's where it's at right now with
Perfect.
that one.
Because I think that's another one that we see a lot of problems, especially once it gets slick out. People come barreling down that hill, which can cause issues. As far as that, we've had some community events. The sheriff's office was able to help out with Toys for Tots over at the Ford dealership. We had a very good turnout for that, actually. They previous years did it at the Great Wolf Lodge, and having it at the car dealership was much better for getting people in and out. There's also the Shop with the Hero event at Meyer. There was an active shooter rehearsal at the Great Wolf Lodge, which I was not able to participate in, unfortunately, but I hear that that was a very good training exercise. I think it's very important that we facilitate things like this, especially with the Walmart mass casualty event still pretty fresh in everyone's mind, and just that reminder that this could happen anywhere, anytime, essentially. So it's good to see that we've been able to work with some of the local businesses and have those kind of training experiences. That's about all I have for notes. And if there's any questions, I can try to answer.
Any questions? No? Okay, thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. DT Metro Fire.
Good evening, Paul Mackin, Metro Fire. Before you have our three-page incident report, I'll just highlight, starting on page 1, the ENFRS incidents between Garfield and Metro. Going down to the totals, 353 incidents in the township, 487 as a whole for Metro. The majority of those incidents falling within the top 3 categories: medical assist to EMS crews, dispatch and canceled en route, and emergency medical services other, again making up about 300 of that 353 within the township. Moving to page 2 is our EMS complaints, our breakdown by priority and nature. Again, falls always leading the top with 67 in the township, 102 Metro as a whole, followed by difficulty breathing, unknown problems with person or a person down. Our cardiac issues and some infections and other things kind of fallen as some of the higher categories. But totaled in the EMS incidents, 329 within the township. Moving to the third page, overall breakdown of our 487 incidents by township. Garfield at 72% of the total calls, 353. East Bay at 17%, Acme at 9%, and then just another 2% out of the area are mutual aid type responses. Our incidents by station, Station 1 leading this month at 144 responses and 30%, followed by Station 12, it's 27%, 134 calls. Usually, we've been kind of seeing that pattern. I've mentioned it a few times where Station 12 is usually behind Station 11 here in Garfield, but it has been picking up. We're going to continue to monitor that. So again, Station 11 at 23%, Station 9 at 9%, and Station 8 also falling at about 9%. And the last graphic, again, is the responses versus incidents. When incidents happen within that station's jurisdiction, they get credit for that call. However, we do look at the metric of the responses. That means those are responses from that station where they're going to be responding with another station where that is within their jurisdiction. Station 1 with 186 responses, followed by Station 12 with 148 responses, Station 11 146, and then so on. Moving on, just a couple things happening in the administration. Just with the end of year, we're wrapping up a couple projects with our policies and policy revisions, updates, employee handbook, things of that nature. Also, ensuring that we have a few things in place. We've had some operational policy changes that were born or a result of the contract negotiations. So in anticipation of the new year, we were making sure that we have all that dialed in and buttoned up. We did have a pre-construction meeting last Friday for our Station 8 project. Grand Traverse Construction is going to begin mobilizing equipment on site and at the end of the month, and then demolition is going to begin the first week of January, with the project scheduled to be completed by April 15th, mid-April. There was a belief that they should be able to improve that timeline, maybe get it wrapped up to the end of March, but again, we're excited to kind of get that moving. A couple other things, we did have our employee retirement plans fiduciary meeting on the 3rd, so last week. Our financial services company, I may have mentioned this before, One America was acquired by Voya. So that was earlier in the year. So they're going to be transitioning our accounts within the first quarter of 2026 for our personnel. Public education, similar to the sheriff's, this past month we participated in the Toys for Tot kickoff at Fox Motor. We did have the privilege of delivering Santa on Engine 11 to that event. Katie and the crews participated in the Shop with the Hero at the Meyer, again escorting Santa. And then this Saturday from 11:30 to 2, we're going to be in a procession, a Santa procession. We won't be delivering him. I believe he's going to be delivered in a sheriff's vehicle. But we'll be leaving here and driving to the Cherryland VFW post. Katie is also conducting some winter safety programs that she has set up at the school. She did that at Silver Lake School Elementary, Cortade Elementary in East Bay, and then she has additional schools scheduled for this month and in January. Crews have been conducting technical rescue and hazmat training, team training this week. We have a couple lieutenant and a firefighter that completed the Fire Instructor 1 course at the Northwest Regional Training Center this past month. A couple of our lieutenants attended a 40-hour class down at the Illinois Fire Service Institute for Fire Ground Officer Command. And also, you may have gotten, just mention this because I think everybody's been getting the reminders from the MTA on the nearest transition that has to take place December 31st. We're switching from NFIRS to nearest beginning January 1. We are prepared. Our people are going to be trained on the changes, so we'll be ready to go on the 1st. That completes my report. Any questions?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Planning Department monthly report for December.
Good evening, John Slake, Planning Director. You have our report in your packet. I just want to highlight a few items. The High Tops Nightclub and Sports Bar at the former Yonkers. We've been working with the applicant over the last several months. The applicant has been very cooperative. Staff is recommending that it be approved based on the criteria in the zoning ordinance. One of the issues obviously is sound impact on the neighboring properties. We're recommending, there's been some modeling that indicates that it's not going to be an issue. So what we're doing is recommending that prior to a certificate of occupancy that we go back and have it tested and see how it conforms to that modeling. Our noise ordinance isn't the type of ordinance at the township here that has like decibel levels and everything like that. So we're using that modeling in which they indicated that it's addressing where there's potential noise issues and dealing things with where there's doors and so forth and roof and that type of thing. So knowing that this is a sensitive issue to those neighbors, we wanted to have another step. I contacted the applicant. The applicant is okay with doing that additional testing, which at that point they'll be able to do actual sound measurement of that club. So that's what we're recommending for the Planning Commission at its meeting tomorrow evening. We also are anticipating that the Grand Traverse Bay YMCA Phase 2 would be approved. There's also on tomorrow's agenda a public hearing for a mixed-use neighborhood zoning district. So that'll be that is to amend the zoning ordinance to provide for that district on the books in the ordinance. Just one other item I just want to mention that's not in here is I've been working with the Traverse City Housing Commission and Smith and Hensy, who's the developer, for the flats at Carriage Commons on that MISTA grant for the CDBG grant that was presented to you a few months ago. That is still in process. MISTA's asking for some additional information, so been working with Smith and Hensy and the Housing Commission, and we resubmitted that information. So hopefully we'll find out soon that we'll get some type of approval on that grant. And that's for water and sewer improvements for phase 2 of that particular project, which will also benefit the Habitat for Humanity homes. So that's all I have.
Any questions for John? All right, thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Okay, Parks and Rec. I see the Parks and Rec in our packet. Is there anything?
Just a report in writing, and I'm going to touch on River East in my report.
Okay, thank you. All right, clerk's report.
Clerk's report's been in writing. Are there any questions? We're just doing year-end, wrapping up the budget and getting ready to prepare for our audit next year. So we're just trying to stay busy.
I do have one question. On your expenditures report for Garfield, I noticed that under the wages for trustees, it's already been all used.
I'd have to look it up. I saw that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And everybody else is at 91 or 92%.
We'll have to look. It's maybe somebody that has extra meetings.
Okay.
That's usually what it is. Has
Yeah, 'cause
had
we
a
won't
lot of
just-
meetings.
Because we'll have all of December yet too, right?
Well, see the bottom down there that I did a budget amendment for this cost center.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you.
Mhm. That's what those budget amendments and the consent calendar were for.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for the clerk? Move on. Township Manager, Chris.
Just a quick update on some of the damage that our system has taken on over the summer. The South Airport Cass Road, we've reported that we can't determine who's responsible for damaging that. So we're documenting that and moving on. We had a contractor run fiber up Veterans Drive several weeks ago and reported that they hit something. There was no indication that it was a water line because it didn't come out of the ground. So, so we can avoid maybe the future Cass South Airport, we're documenting it should something occur on this section of road. So that's how we're handling that. Burger King at Myers, the contractor's insurance company feels that they're not liable for the damage. And the bill from Elmer's was roughly $25,000, so it was a significant bill. We are going to work with our engineer to basically do a reconstruction of that area and take measurements to, scale the area, take measurements, and determine exactly where the markings were compared to the damage. Based on the Misdig Act, you have to use soft digging techniques within 48 inches of where we mark the water line. And we believe that they did not. But at the end of the day, we have to prove that. So that's what we're going to be doing in the near future. And then the West High School, the residents are still working with the contractor's insurance company, and none of them have received any funds to repair the damage that was caused. So that's been kind of a painful process for many of them, as some have experienced losses up to $50,000 and more. So the homeowners will continue to work with the insurance company, and I'll report on progress down the road when I know more. The flats at Carriage Commons, HTIF, I met with the developer, a consultant, and County Brownfield director regarding that, because HTIF has to be approved through the County Brownfield. And out of that meeting, the consultant is going to go back and crunch their numbers and look at alternative ways of funding the next phase of that project. They initially proposed capturing our pilot payment and the MSA. It doesn't appear that the county board is in favor of developers capture the MSA because they feel that public service is important to have that money there, which I was encouraged to hear that. So they're basically reevaluating their ask, and then we're going to get back together in the future and then maybe return to this board with a proposal. So, and I can't give you a timeline for that, but in the future at some point. I attended the city board meeting last Monday along with Jennifer, our engineer, and the city board approved our proposal that the supervisor has explained over the course of many meetings. The board approved the city staff to work with us in finalizing that agreement. So right now it's in the hands of our attorney, and waiting for him to reply back with his updates, and then I'll go back to the city and a little bit of back and forth until we can land on something that'll come to you to ultimately approve. I don't have a timeline for that, but hopefully sooner than later. Silver Lake milfoil treatment, we set up the district. That's all been done. Now we're finalizing the treatment company. We picked PLM, who's done it in the past. This was a collaborative effort between Silver Lake Improvement Association and Blair Township Supervisor. We've met, and we also feel that the RLS, which is the consultant who oversees the treatment, that we make the agreement 5 years to fit with the milfoil district timeframe. So we've met with both of those organizations, asked them to update their proposals, which they did, and you should have them in your next meeting packet for consideration and approval. River East project update, we met with the consultant several weeks back and kind of expressed what we'd like to see in the park on top of what's already been designed. And we hope to have this to you like an updated plan. It's going to go to the Parks Commission on January 5th, just to say, okay, here's a collaboration. This is what we'd like to see. Going to go to the Parks Commission for their input, back to the county board here for your input on the design, and then we're going to collect all your information and then come up with a final. And hopefully by the end of January, we'll have a final design that we can use to plan moving forward in the phases. We wanted this done quickly so that way we could get contractors scheduled, and once the snow melts, we can get the projects taken care of. Frankie Road, the only update I want to give you there is that we submitted for the 2% grant, so we'll wait to hear back on that, and then we'll also look for other grant opportunities to help fund that project as well. So that is all I have, unless anybody has questions.
Questions for Chris?
Okay.
All right, thanks, Chris. Supervisor's report, really just a couple of things Chris touched on with the city. If you read the headlines a week ago, we did finally come to an agreement on that. So if you go back to late February, we had three main points of that were bottlenecked with the city capacity, which we were they were claiming we were over our reserve. This commons area, and then a couple of outstanding permits in Long Lake. So 2 out of 3 have been put to bed, so we're continuing those discussions. Actually have a meeting with them tomorrow. We're going to keep meeting until we get the other issues resolved, which will then let us really start working on the elephant in the room, which is the bulk water agreement, which expires in less than 2 years, or about 2 years. So that's where we're really working toward that. So a lot going on, but really good progress and really good negotiations we had there. Really only make sure that I have a flyer here. Make sure you mark your calendars for Metro's having their holiday open house at Metro on the 18th from noon to 2. So I'm sure the chief would like to invite all of you to go there that would like to stop by and say hi for that. So and then we'll talk a little bit more about speed studies. I was going to touch on them now, but we're going to be dealing with them with resolutions. We'll talk about them very shortly here. So we'll talk about them then. Any questions for me? All right, we'll move on. Okay, item 7, unfinished business. We're going to have a public hearing tonight for the Garfield Township budgets for 2026. General fund, fire fund, excuse me, public improvement fund, public improvement road fund, excuse me, budget stabilization fund, DPW fund, park system fund, streetlight fund, and special assessment district. So each year as we finish our budgets, we have to have a public hearing, give anybody the opportunity to ask any questions about the budgets. And then later in the agenda, we'll have resolutions on each of these areas of the budget to individually approve. So anything else, Chris, or just go ahead and open it up? So If anybody has any questions about the budget, we're going to go ahead and open up the public hearing. State your name and address for the record and ask us or tell us what you'd like to say.
Not everybody at once.
Nobody's here to talk about budgets, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and move on to our new business. And the first item is, item A, is consideration of approving the financing for Metro Fire's engine purchase, Resolution 2025-55-T, starting on page 114 of your packet. I don't know if Chief, you wanted to talk about that briefly.
Just briefly, thank you. So at our last Metro Board meeting, they did approve the purchase of an engine. This engine is been part of our capital improvement plan, or our fleet plan. We've been planning and scheduling out. This is actually, we're calling it Engine 28. We name them by the fiscal year. The last one that we did purchase, we did receive in 2024, so that engine is in service here at Station 11. This is planning ahead. With your approval tonight, again, it was approved by the Metro Board, it was approved by the other two townships. We need this resolution because of the financing, the long-term debt. But when it's ordered, they're at 30.5 to 33.5 months, so where that puts us is summer, fall, potentially would be the delivery of this in 28. The intention, as you can see in your resolution, is we have made a commitment to within our fleet plan, capital replacement plan, is the purchase of this one has gone up significantly. It's at just over $1 million. Again, we're committing to putting 40% down, so the financing of this would be $624,815. That would be the absolute max. There is potential for us to improve those numbers a little bit as we get into final pre-con on a couple of the specifications, but again, it's just crazy that it's that far out to get these ordered. It will be actually replacing, when we do get that in service in 2028, it would be replacing in 1993. Our oldest engine in our fleet would be then gone. We'll get rid of that. Just another point, in our apparatus schedule, in 29, we're looking at replacing the tanker, but the next engine is planned for fiscal year 31. So again, the financing with it, everything's been in line with our budget that our board members have seen. The projected debt obligations, everything's staying steady through fiscal 26, 27, 28. A little bit of an increase, a tick up in 29. But again, between now and then, we have a number of other loans dropping off. This year in 26, we are getting the ladder truck that was ordered. But again, we're putting we talking with the accountant if we have the opportunity to put a little bit more down out of public improvement, but we're still going to target that 40% and fall in line with the resolutions that were previously approved by you. But again, it's a ways off, but again, I need your approval to go ahead and commit to this project.
Any questions for the chief?
The price remain the same even though it's not delivered till 2028?
Yeah, no, that is the price. That is the price. The only thing that we've done in the past, and we'll evaluate when we get a little bit closer, is the potential of like a prepayment discount. But what we have to do is, if we're going to give them, what we've done is with the ladder truck, we used a large portion of what we were going to put as our down payment anyway. We were able to give it to them and see a little bit of a savings, but we have to weigh that based on what are we getting from the banks in terms of the rates. So is it, are we doing a little bit better? If we're going to make a little bit more money, save a little bit more money, we'll put a little bit more money down, or put that money down maybe in, fiscal year 27 or something along those lines. But again, those are things we'll evaluate. And essentially, this is authorizing the financing and the debt, but we're not going to really be shopping until maybe we'll start maybe 4 or 5 months, 6 months. We'll start letting the lenders in the area know, hey, we're going to be looking at a loan for 600-some thousand, just to kind of let them know. But realistically, we really don't secure that until about 2 months out is when we can really get some solid rates or concrete rates from the banks, and then commit to that financing.
Just don't run down to the corner dealership and pick up a fire truck.
No,
Yeah,
no, you
exactly.
don't. You don't.
Put a fire truck.
Okay,
I would like to make a motion.
all right.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution approving the financing for the fire engine purchase of Resolution 2025-55-T.
I'll support.
Okay, motion made and supported to approve Resolution 2025-55-T, purchase of a new engine, fire engine for Metro Fire. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Ann, can we have a roll call on that, please?
Yes. No, it was Lapp.
Yes.
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 Yes, thank you. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
All right. New business item B, consideration of proposal for demolition of booster station at Grand Traverse Commons. Jennifer, are you going to talk to that briefly? I think we talked about bringing up the speed on that.
Thank you. Yes, I touched on it in the packet, but also just to help, you should have dated December 3rd, a memo that I kind of pulled together just as kind of a recap. And again, this is some of our fun legacy projects, but you know, when we take a pause on things, opportunities, again, continue to present themselves with the Commons infrastructure project that was underway that the city pursued. They utilized Walton Contracting as their contractor to install water main, then also to access Red Drive Booster Station through coordination with Township and DPW to install a meter and a reducing valve station to serve that area of town. But prior to that, when we put the Cedar Run tank that I think got into operation about 2020, it was provided us a mechanism to do quite a bit of abandonment of infrastructure that took quite a bit of energy to pump up, because we were actually sending, prior to that tank, we were sending water from the city to the west side of town. And now, once that tank was put in place in the highest elevation in the county, we're able to send water the other direction. So with that, it allowed us the ability to abandon two pressure reducing valve stations, and also two booster stations, which use quite a bit of level of effort of three-phase power and O&M costs. And so this Munson Red Drive, and some of you again did have opportunity to tour it, has been sitting there as a building, completely underutilized. There's piping there, there's pumps there, there's a generator that dates back, what, World War II maybe? So diesel fuel tank, pressure tank that at one point we tried to sell to someone and they weren't, you know, they didn't want our stuff. So that's fine. So it's all been sitting there stagnant, not used, disconnected. And so it's always been in our plan at some point to remove that infrastructure, because it does, as it continues to degrade, it creates maintenance for DPW, potential contamination should any of the pipes fail or there's any backflow long term. So we've just been sitting there because it's not been a priority. But with Walton doing that work inside the building, I just asked them to provide some pricing since they were there. And that's what's submitted in your packet tonight, dated from Walton Contracting. And I worked through just the scope, just to ask them, you know, what would your pricing be? And it was, you know, I guess reviewing what I had for an estimate, it was very appealing and worth me presenting to you guys tonight. I had a number that was closer to about $100,000 because you would have to mobilize a contractor, you know, go through the formalities of a process, whereas Walton's there doing the work, has relationships with staff, and it's just nice winter work for them to do. We'll go through the formal process as far as getting insurance from them and ensuring coordination, but at the end of the day, they're just pulling old infrastructure out that provides no use. I've talked to the DPW, it has really no salvage value, so I feel that some of the cost that Walton is able to make some concession on, they're going to acquire through scrap. and taking it to pad nose or what have you. So I would definitely recommend you guys entertain and consider this bid price, because if we were to do it at a later date, I feel that it would come in higher, and it is something that they're able to do in January and provide a building that could house, some additional infrastructure for DPW, get it all cleaned up.
So that would be a total of like $23,433?
Yeah.
That's for all of them?
Yeah.
And you thought it was going to be $100,000?
Well, right, because there was quite a bit of work involved. But some of that work has actually already transpired through the city contract, where they actually removed some elements and cut some piping because of the project that they had. So that did help us with some of those original removal items, because they needed the space. So they used Walton to do that work through funding of Brownfield. So there was some savings there. But no, I do expect, if we were to go through another more formal process, just with what we're seeing for other bid prices, that it would look differently. And I think, again, partly just because this was more casual inquiry with them, and they're definitely demonstrated their ability to be capable, because they're already under contract with the city. And I would be involved helping to facilitate both for Garfield and DPW. And again, we would enter into a contract, Garfield would, and then also making sure that they're insured and providing, at the end of the day, a maintenance bond. So there could be a little bit more costs associated, like when I come back, because I had already done a vetting with him that it included everything, patching, but there could be a cost associated with getting a maintenance bond at the end of the day with this project, should we choose to want to do that. But no, I am very happy with their pricing, and definitely would advocate that we take advantage of it to have this done, just for peace of mind for DPW, for you guys.
And that includes the generator, the fuel tank that's inside, a lot of things that could.
It's full of
if we
fuel,
don't do anything,
too.
could
That's the
cause
other thing.
Some
Right.
contamination down the road. And this is the station, as we talked about a little earlier, when the Brownfield money's paid off on a connection, we're taking that district. This is the building that supports that district we're taking over, and this stuff just isn't needed, so we're gonna have to get rid of it eventually, so I don't think prices are gonna get any cheaper than they are right now. And this was, because they're on site, I think, and doing the other project is why the bid came in pretty reasonable.
And they're very familiar with everything in there. And I did go through and confirm some other things, but yes, for example, you can see a picture of the generator, and that doesn't do it justice, but it's actually full of fuel. And they confirmed that they're going to siphon it all out and environmentally, dispose of it and filter it and take it off site, and, so it protects you guys from any environmental concerns, and they're the responsible party for all that removal items. And then the DPW doesn't have to worry about it either, and worry about removing it, selling it, because they have enough old pumps at the DPW shop that they don't need to have that extra burden either.
And these would come out of enterprise funds as well, so these are out of our.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve the contract with Walton Construction for a total of $23,433 for the demolition of Pump Station 4. Any further discussion on that motion? Ann, can we go ahead and have a roll on that, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thanks.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
All right. All right, moving on. Item C, consideration of a traffic speed study on East Silver Lake Road, Resolution 2025-41-T. And I'd like to just mention a couple things, maybe to eliminate a little confusion as we talk about doing a speed study. And earlier, the sheriff mentioned there was already a speed study done, okay? We contracted with the road commission or the sheriff's department to do a speed study. Our speed study showed what we hoped it would show, and we think that that data would support a reduction of the speed limit. That's just good data, something we bought and paid for, or had the sheriff's department do. That data, the ultimate decision on the change of a speed limit stands with the state police. Unfortunately, not with us. The rules or the laws or the process that's changed recently is that we can actually request a speed study. In the past, the township board could never really even, I don't think, really request one in the past. It was something that had to come from a different direction. But now we can ask the state police to do a speed study and hopefully act on it. And with our, we can recommend and things. So if you're looking for us to make a decision, you're looking at the wrong group of people, but we are, we want the study done and so on. So we did do a study, and we did have data, and we want to move on with that. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So the resolution before us this evening is to this board's support requesting the speed study that will ultimately decide, hopefully, if the speed limit is changed. So, Steve, I believe you want to make a few comments. This is Steve has been spearheading this project, so he asked if he could speak tonight.
I'd say I was the author, but it was more Chris than me. I was the implementer. Steve Duell, 872 Northeast Silver Lake Road. Lori, welcome to the board.
Thanks, Steve.
I'm familiar with everybody else. Chuck's got a beard on, so that's nice. So same thing as my neighbors. I talked more with Ray and Lynn, and then talked with John, and kind of heard the same stories. With us, we also have 920 Northeast Silver Lake Road, the horse farm, right next to our house. It seems like when we're pulling in or pulling out with trailers, us and other people with horses in them, you cannot accelerate with an animal in the back of the trailer. The slower drivers slow down and wave at you, like this. It's the faster drivers that you don't even see cresting the hill, then you pull out, that come up on you super fast, hit their horns, and the other wave comes up, and it's not friendly. So it seems like the faster the drivers are, the more aggressive they are. Pulling into our home, we pull out of the driveway, head south, we're, 100 yards, pull into our driveway. No cars visible from the north. Get to my driveway, I can't even see the grill of their car. They're laying on their horn, and again, they're waving with the wrong motion as I pull into my own driveway. The deputy speeds. So any ticket researches that they do, they're going to find that they're written for 60 or something like that. My nephew, when he was on the deputy thing, I told him, sit in my driveway, Skylar, and radar north and south. He was clocking people well over 70. And the nice guy he was, when he would talk to him and give him a lecture, he'd write him for 60 over. So that information, I don't know if the tickets, Chris would know better, but they might write what they were and what they gave them. I don't know. But so the deputy speeds were in there, and he was clocking them. The time he sat in that one driveway that one night when I was there, he had to pull out to get somebody because they were doing over 72. And he had written 4 tickets just that night. And he doesn't mess with anybody that's like 65 or below. He hits them over 65. So in my opinion, it's going to get worse. Garfield's got development going on, but the biggest part of our road is everybody has learned it's a throughfare from all of the road constructions that were happening. We have Blair that is just exploding on the south side of Rennie. And if Meyer goes in, which I heard it was approved, they're working out the negotiations. God knows where that intersection goes, but the traffic down our road is going to become a miniature I-75, similar to Lafreniere over on Denise's area. So, and then the one thing I hadn't even really paid attention of, and my wife said tonight, make sure you mention the hidden driveway sign. So just past south of Laney and Joe's Road, on your side, County Road has a sign there, County Road Commission, that says hidden driveways. So they're aware that there's hidden driveways. They wouldn't have put that sign up, I don't think, unless there was issues in the past. So I know this is the first step. We can't suggest nothing. We can't do anything. The study was interesting because the 1100 block southbound had an average speed of 47.69 miles an hour. So they were going slower, but then at the same time, the maximum speed was 78. And in the 600, the average speed was 51, and the high speed was 80. And this time of year, you don't see it as much, but when the roads are dry and the summer's on and everybody's around, my gosh, they're flying down there. So I guess I'm just asking the board to support the resolution, step 1 of 3, maybe, or 2, who knows. We'll see where it goes, before somebody does get killed. So we're kind of pre-stopping this, or somebody's going to get hit bad or something. So anyways, that's it. Thank you for all that you do. I almost came up during the budget thing and said, I know what you went through, but you do a good job. So thank you for serving.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah.
I would like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2025-41-T, a request for Grand Traverse County Road Commission to perform a speed study on the East Silver Lake Road between Silver Lake and Rennie School Road be approved.
I'll support that.
Okay, motion made and supported to approve Resolution 2025-41-T. Further discussion, Chris?
So with the Lafreniere speed study, we chose to use the road commission, the state police. The state police does not charge a fee for that. But there's a priority at which they do their work. Fatal car crash investigation, speed studies maybe way down here. So that's what we're kind of finding out. I mean, we did that like 3 months ago, I believe, and that study has yet to take place. It's probably not going to happen until springtime now. I was informed at that time that we could pay $500 to have a local civil engineer, Wade Trim, who works with the road commission, to do the study. And what that does is they collect the data on behalf of the state police, who then interprets it and then carries the process forward. So what that does is save some time for $500. So I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Are we going to do the speed study during the winter? Because I know.
I wouldn't. Doesn't make any sense.
I live off of East Silver Lake Road also, and my subdivision, you pull out, you don't see people coming over the hill, and I pull out and they're there. I also get that special wave, but, yeah.
I agree with Chris. If you can do that, that'd be great. But yeah, definitely, I was hoping, Laney, you would say that, because
yeah.
winter's not the issue.
No, yeah.
It's the summer.
Oh, yeah.
When everybody's out and having fun. So if we're gonna do the speed study, I would, unfortunately, we gotta wait.
Yeah, I don't think we wouldn't want it done, and they wouldn't actually do it in the winter. I mean, of course, if they use the traffic speeds to determine, it'd probably be 35 miles an hour.
Well, maybe if they're gonna lower it.
This past week, the snow we've been getting, but, yeah, to Chris's point, we approved, this, if assuming we approve the next two, this one and the next resolution, it'd be 3 speed studies we're approving. And Lafreniere was done at the request of the Beta Project because they're putting that crosswalk across there, so they're worried about it's all about public safety to me, whether it's pedestrian or whether it's traffic. So what I would suggest we do is, assuming we pass these resolutions, that we have Chris follow up with the state police. You probably have some connections, and find out what can they commit to doing it right away in the spring. If they can't, and it can be expedited by us spending $500 a study, it's probably money well spent, and I would suggest we do that. But I think we have a little time because we're not doing them until spring. So that was what I was going to suggest we do. So
I agree with you.
Yep, great
I
plan.
agree.
And could we spend 500 and get the Lafreniere one done as well?
Well, we
But the
may
problem
do
is
that, yes.
they're probably not going to do it till April, May of next year, so we're kind of in the same.
Yeah, it's
What if something else comes up that is more important than a speed study?
It very well, like in May, they could have a string of fatal car crashes
Right.
that delays it again.
So why can't, like Lori says, why can't we just spend the $500?
we probably can, but I would like to get some communication with them and let them know we're going to, also to try to expedite the process. Then you just have to interpret the data and not actually conduct the study.
Okay.
Why don't I determine what that all looks like in timeframes? I'll talk to the road commission, I'll talk with the trooper who does the investigation speed studies, and just kind of get an idea of timing.
Okay.
If you do it yourself, it could take 5 months. If you have the civil engineer do it, maybe it shortens it to 2 months. But at least educate you so we know what to do next.
And we could take that action before spring, so we'll get first in line, hopefully in the spring, to get them done.
Okay.
So, all right, any other questions or conversation about that? Hearing none. And could we have a roll call on that resolution, please?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. One down. Okay. Consideration of a traffic study for Silver Lake Road, Resolution 2025-40-T. I know that the gal from TART was here. This actually came up from, Molly suggested this. She's very familiar with that stretch of road in by the Y there, and it is kind of a lot of the same. There's so much traffic in and out of there, so kind of the same request here. So
I would make a motion that we adopt, Resolution 2025-40T, the consideration of a traffic speed study for Silver Lake Road between South Airport and Frankie Roads be approved.
Any support for that?
I'll support that.
Motion made and supported to approve Resolution 2025-40-T to request a speed study on Silver Lake Road between South Airport and, what was the other one, Denise?
South Airport and Frankie.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any further discussion on that motion? Yes, sir.
I just want to point out that this is between Frankie and South Airport, and you had an individual here tonight who actually lives south of South Airport.
Right.
So I don't know if is it worth to make it up to Zimmerman Road, or I don't know
Well-
how detailed the state police is if I say, hey, can you extend this a little bit?
The thing is, with Zimmerman Road, you're going basically uphill there.
Correct.
And then downhill, I mean, and then you got the stop sign right there, and
Got
the traffic sign right there.
They won't do a speed study within a certain distance of a curve or a traffic light.
Yeah, so probably from Zimmerman, or South Airport up to Zimmerman, they probably wouldn't even, with the hill and everything, I doubt they would.
Well, they got, then South Airport Road, then you've got the one at Barnes Road,
Right.
and then you got the one at Copper Ridge, and then you got one at Frankie's. There's 4
Right.
lights in there.
So it has to be a certain distance from a traffic light.
Okay.
There's room there.
Okay, is there
We're the-
room there?
About at the Y, the area we're requesting, there's room to do it.
Okay.
I think if we try to go further south, there might
Yeah.
not be,
Isn't there a big curve there, though, by the Y?
yeah, but once you get around the curve at the Y, and then it's
Right.
straight all the way to Barnes,
Okay.
that's where we want to do the studies,
Yeah.
right there.
Okay.
Okay. Motion was made and supported, correct?
Correct.
Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, and another roll?
Hey, I have battery. Schmuckel.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
Lapp.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
Corn.
Yes.
And Jane McManus.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Item E, consideration of hiring Cooper People Group for the Township Handbook update. So this is starting on page 152 of your packet. Who's going to speak to this, Chris?
So the Personnel Committee has met in the past and talked about updating our handbook, and we've found that this could be a very efficient way to do that. If we take staff time, it could just be, drug on for a period of time that we'd rather not have that happen. Talking with Trustee Lapp, who has HR background, she identified Cooper People Group as somebody who can assist us with that project. And I've included in the packet their proposal, and I'm asking the board to, have reviewed that and consider authorizing the supervisor to enter into an agreement to have them help us update our handbook.
I think it's a great idea. I really do. Like you said, it takes personnel so much time, and so I would like to make a motion that the supervisor authorized to sign an agreement with Cooper People Group to update the township's employee personal handbook at the cost of $6,000.
Well, I'll support.
Okay. Motion made and supported to authorize the supervisor to enter into a contract agreement with Cooper People Group. Any questions or further discussion on this one? All right, hearing none. Ann, go ahead and roll call that one if you would, please.
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Lapp.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
Corn.
Yes.
And Jay McManus.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Chris, I think the next one's yours.
Yep.
Consideration of purchasing a new township vehicle.
So I included a letter in your packet just to kind of let you know where our fleet age was and mileage. For quite a long time, we've always budgeted for another vehicle. I feel like right now is the time that we could use that to improve the safety for our staff who continues to do work in the winter months. Our Ford Escape passenger vehicle or small SUV is used mainly by the assessing department, and they're going to continue to work through the winter months, and that's front-wheel drive. So I would like to propose using our budgeted funds to purchase a Chevy Equinox as an opportunity to try a different brand in our fleet. I contacted Berger Chevrolet, who is a registered My Deal program dealer in Michigan, and was informed that the Equinox is a very sought-after vehicle, hard to keep into stock, and they have several of them that are being built right now, actually, that I could get. Otherwise, if you're typically go through the My Deal process, it could take months and months to get it. He has confirmed that I can purchase one of the ones that are being built now at My Deal pricing. And he told me, and Trustee Korn would know a lot about this from his former experience, is that he didn't have the window sticker or the invoice to give me the exact cost, My Deal cost for various models. So that's why I had asked to purchase one up to the amount that's in my memo of $34,298. So it gives me some flexibility in picking a model, is what that does. So.
And great job, you're $965,000 less than the chief spent on.
I know, isn't that great? Fiscal responsibility.
Oh, I guess it's apples and oranges, isn't it? Okay. Just saying.
I would like to make a motion to give Chris the flexibility to purchase a vehicle through Berger Chevrolet, authorizing to purchase a vehicle through the dealership at a cost not to exceed $34,298.
I'll second that, especially if you can put a water cannon on the roof.
Pump with some sprayers.
I will.
Ladder on the top.
Poor chief.
It is spectacular. So, and this has been in the budget, I've been seeing this for.
Like several years.
Yeah, so, and I think if we look at our fleet and our newest vehicles, it's not gonna be 10 years old next year. I think it's probably time we get another one in there. So, any further discussion on the motion?
Are any of these old ones going away?
So I thought about selling the 2013, but when we took over soil and erosion, there's greater need for vehicles to be shared, and it makes sense to keep it. It's because soil and erosion inspections occur in the summer months, so you don't have to worry about the winter driving. So it just kind of makes sense to keep it for now.
Yep, I agree.
We don't put very many miles on those cars, do we?
No?
No.
I have heard that, even though that there's low mileage, and again, Trustee Korn being the expert, or more of an expert than me in this, is that when vehicles tend to sit around, they still age and become unsafe. So there's got to be a time that you get rid of it, even though it may have low mileage. So maybe that's something I research and educate you on.
That's what I was wondering, if a lease made sense. You're not driving it very much. You could trade it out.
I could tell you the sheriff department leased administrative vehicles because it made a lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Something we could check on down the road for sure.
With that low of miles, at least probably doesn't make sense. Why? Because you're just paying the depreciation, and then you turn it in.
Yep.
Well, I think we've been pretty fiscally responsible, being that we haven't bought one in 9 years. So.
Yep.
And we do, to Chris's point, and we're getting, it used to be a time when we didn't have vehicles or people wouldn't use them. Now I think we're seeing a lot more use of the company vehicles, especially with soil erosion and building, everything going on, so. All right. Any further discussion on that? And can we have a roll call on that, please?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Korn.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
Lapp.
Yes.
And J. McManus.
Yes. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, now we get to start budget resolutions. It's always fun every year to start budget resolutions. So the first one, consideration of resolution 2025-42-D, general fund 2026 budget.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-42-T, the general fund 2026 budget.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and supported. Any further discussion on that? And can we have a roll call, please?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Korn.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
Lapp.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
J. McManus.
Yes. Consideration of resolution 2025-43-T, fire fund budget.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-43-T, fire fund budget, fire fund 2026 budget.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve the fire fund budget for 2026. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ann, please.
Schmuckel.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
Lapp.
Yes.
Korn.
Yes.
J. McManus.
I can just say them.
Yes.
You don't have to read them. I'll read them out for you.
I figure I had the Chiefs here, I had to vote yes on that one. All right, so item I, consideration of resolution 2025-44-T, Public Improvement Road Fund 2026 budget.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution 2025-44-T, Public Improvement Road Fund 2026 budget.
Support.
Okay, motion made and supported to approve resolution 2025-43-T, the Public Improvement Road Fund budget. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, Ann?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Lap.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
Al McManus.
Yes.
Horn.
Yes.
Jay McManus.
Yes. Item J, consideration of resolution 2025-45-T, Budget Stabilization Fund 2026 budget.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-45-T, Budget Stabilization Fund, 2026 budget, excuse me.
And seconded.
Motion made and supported to approve resolution 2025-45-T, the Budget Stabilization Fund. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, Ann?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Corn.
Yes.
Al McManus.
Yes.
Lap.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
Jay McManus.
Yes. Item K, excuse me, consideration of resolution 2025-46-T, the DPW Fund for 2026 budget.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-46-T, DPW Fund 2026 budget.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve the DPW Fund budget for 2026, resolution 2025-46-T. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ann?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
Corn.
Yes.
Lap.
Yes.
Al McManus.
Yes.
And Jay McManus.
Yes. Item L, consideration of resolution 2025-47-T, Park System Fund 2026 budget.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-47-T, Park System Fund 2026 budget.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve resolution 2025-47-T, Park Fund budget for 2026. Any further discussion on that motion? Ann?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Lap.
Yes.
Al McManus.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
Corn.
Yes.
Jay McManus.
Yes. Okay. Item M, consideration of resolution 2025-48-T, the Street Light Fund 2026 budget.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-45, excuse me,
Did I do that right?
yep, 2025-48T, Street Light Fund 2026 budget.
I thought I was one off. Any support? for
Support.
that? Motion made and supported to approve resolution 2025-48-T, the Street Light Fund budget for 2026. Any further discussion on that motion? Ann?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Lap.
Yes.
Al McManus.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
Corn.
Yes.
Jay McManus.
Yes. Item N, consideration of resolution 2025-49-T, Special Assessment District Fund 2026 budget.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-49-T, Special Assessment District Fund 2026 budget.
Support. Support.
Motion made and supported to approve resolution 2025-49-T, the Special Assessment District Fund budget. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ann?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
Corn.
Yes.
Lap.
Yes.
Al McManus.
Yes.
Jay McManus.
Yes. Item O, consideration of resolution 2025-29-T, Clerk's salary.
Make a motion we adopt resolution 2025-29-T, Clerk salary.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and supported to approve resolution 2025-29-T, Clerk's salary. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, Ann?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Corn.
Yes.
Al McManus.
Yes.
Lap.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
Jay McManus.
Yes. Consideration of resolution 2025-30-T, Treasurer's salary.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-30-T, Treasurer's salary.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and supported to approve resolution 2025-30-T, Treasurer's salary. Any further discussion on that motion? Ann?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Horn.
Yes.
Cumber.
Yes.
Lab.
Yes.
Ellen McManus.
Yes.
Jay McManus.
Yes. Item Q, consideration of resolution 2025-50-T, supervisor salary.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-50-T, the supervisor's salary.
Support.
I guess that's
Say, Lord, nobody wants to support it, no.
motion made and supported for resolution 2025-50-T. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Ann?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Lab.
Yes.
Ellen McManus.
Yes.
Cumber.
Yes.
Horn.
Yes.
And Jay McManus.
Yes. Consideration of resolution 2025-51-T, Township Trustees salary.
I'll let you do that one. Laney?
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-51-T, Township Trustees salary.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve resolution 2025-51-T, Township Trustees salary. Any further discussion on that motion? Ann?
Ellen McManus.
Yes.
Cumber.
Yes.
Jay McManus.
Yes.
Oops. Schmuckel.
Yes.
Horn.
Yes.
And Lab.
Yes.
Okay. Consideration of resolution 2025-52-T, annual exemption option as set forth in 2011 Public Act 152, the publicity funded health insurance.
Publicly.
Okay, well, I read it correctly. It's misspelled. Is my correct? Publicly funded insurance act. Publicly. I don't know where I can get publicity from. Publicly funded. Too many resolutions. All right.
I will make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-52-T, annual exemption option as set forth in 2011 Public Act 152, the publicly,
I got you going now.
publicly funded health insurance contribution act.
I'll second that.
Motion made, supported to approve resolution 2025-52-T. I'm not going to read it again. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Ann?
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Horn.
Yes.
Ellen McManus.
Yeah.
Lab.
Yes.
Cumber.
Yes.
And Jay McManus.
And I'm not reading it again.
My trifocals are off tonight. Okay, that is all the resolutions. Okay. Next item on our agenda are the appointments for boards for 2026. Just a couple of notes. We did have a resignation on the Planning Commission. Unfortunately, we had a applicant on file that's been in our system, and we've been using him as an alternate on ZBA. So we're recommending him to be put on that. We had a resignation on the is it Joint Rec Authority?
That one's coming, but it hasn't officially been here
Well,
yet.
okay, which one did we put?
Parks Board.
No, the zoning, ZBA?
No, we made a change in ZBA as well.
it was
We've
the
appointed
Parks Board.
John Racine as the Planning Commission rep on ZBA. But Parks and Rec, I'm sorry, there was a resignation on Parks and Rec. I said Joint Rec. And we're recommending Tom Cuman to fill that position. So I don't know if there's any other questions on the recommendations I'm putting forward this evening.
Looks good.
We talk about the whole, everything
Yeah,
together.
you would just make, if you're so inclined, you would make a motion to approve all the recommendations and.
I make a motion that we approve all the
I
recommendations.
just want to make one comment on,
Okay, before we do that, we got a motion. We have a second, but then we'll open up discussion. She made the motion to
I
approve.
made the motion, we need a second, then we can discuss.
Then we can
oh,
discuss.
okay, got it. All right, second.
Second, okay, motion made and supported to adopt the appointments as presented. Lori, what's your question?
Well, I just had a question on TTCI board. That is, the whole intent of that money is to help traffic flow better as our population continues to expand, and hearing all the comments tonight from people in speed limits And for everyone in this area, what's the first road you think of when you think about traffic going through town?
South Airport.
South Airport Road.
South Airport Road. Guess what township most of that road is in? Garfield Township. So I think, and Chuck, I know you've been on there, you've done a great job. I don't know if you're rerunning next year. Well, we don't know if you're going to get reelected. If you do, I'm your alternate. I'm more than likely going to be working full-time again. This committee meets in the daytime. I just want us to be mindful of having a good representation on that
What's your,
board.
what are you suggesting?
Who's on that board now? I mean, I'm not.
Chuck and
familiar.
I and John Syke.
I mean,
Oh,
totally.
everybody.
I mean, are all supervisors on it, or?
Supervisors are on it. So I mean, my recommendation is Joe. The road commission is on there. The city is on there. All of the other, and I think Chuck, because you were the supervisor, that's kind of how you started on there.
So what you're saying is we should have Joe on there rather than Chuck?
Well, what
Well,
about as
I
the
don't know.
alternate? What about as the alternate? If you're suggesting maybe because I'm not that familiar with that board, okay, at all. I do know it meets every other month, and I appreciate that. So maybe a suggestion would be, if you're okay with that, he pulled you off as the alternate, put me on as the alternate, and I learned from Chuck, and then we determine if
Sure,
Chuck's
there you go.
going to be here and down the road, and because I could attend those meetings as the alternate even if Chuck's there as well and learn. So
Right.
Yeah.
that's
Great
what maybe
idea.
my suggestion would be. So if that's your suggestion, then I would, that would say then we make the move, remove Lori as the alternate on TCCI and put me in as the alternate. And then Denise, are you okay with changing your motion to reflect that?
I will resend my motion.
And Lori, you're okay with seconding that with that
Yes,
change?
I'm okay with that.
I'm good with that. Absolutely fine with that.
All right, is everybody okay with that? All right. Any other discussions on any of the other appointments or suggestions?
Not having fun with my iPad.
Okay. Hearing none.
Not cooperating.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Meeting dates. I believe meeting dates is our next item. I don't see
I don't see any problem with them, any.
I don't see anything. You do, please note on February 25th would be a joint meeting. We'd have our meeting on the 24th and then the
Right.
joint meeting on the 25th with the Planning Commission. That's kind of an annual thing.
November.
I don't know if there's anything else, anything jumps out with anybody there or not.
No, we should be good on election dates. I was
Yeah.
just checking.
Yeah, that's the one.
So do we need to move?
Look at,
Okay.
Chris, will check why I doesn't have any problems? It blacked out on you just now.
Just went out on you?
Yes.
And of course, we're going to stay at 6 o'clock, I'm sure. We don't wanna change
Absolutely.
that. Okay,
The power.
all right.
Battery went dead.
Probably dead battery.
Well, I guess anybody want to make a motion to adopt these as our dates for 2026?
I make a motion, we adopt the township board meeting dates for 2026.
Support.
Motion made and supported to adopt the 2026 meeting dates as presented.
I'm not looking at this.
Any other discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment. A majority of our
Chief,
public
go
has
first,
exited. So I don't see anybody running forward, so we'll go ahead and close public comment and ask if there's any other business to come before the board this evening.
Did yours just go dark too?
Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned. If anybody wants to make a note, here's the notice.